Certain women don't mind taking care of a nigga. Ooh, they don't mind bringing home the bacon, frying it up in a pan, and never, ever, ever let you forget that you're a man. Shit. If I'm doing all that, you can't be a man. You one of my children. Oh, my life, be waiting for you. Look how you do. Bugs, hello there, bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook, and subscribe, because it is so important to our success here on the YouTube. And if you are not already a part of our book club, please remember to hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube, and for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes you, can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's talk about Etta James and David Ritz, Rage to Survive. I think this will be part 28. So where we left off, love bugs, what's going on is, Etta James went before the court. He had a very compassionate, or she had a very compassionate judge who, instead of sending her up the river, he gave her another option to join a intense 90-day program at Tarzana. She was doing quite well, very well. She had worked her way all the way up to the higher ranks, like a senior member within the program. It happened Christmas Eve. A little booze turned into a lot of booze. I was humiliated. I was wrong for doing it. I was a fool. I acted against everything the program stood for. When I look back, I'm not sure what my motivations were, except I was tired of being straight. So she done brung a little bit of booze in the house. You can't do that with people who are fighting their addiction every day. I told you, I've learned over the years that addicts will always be addicts. Now, they may not always use, but they always, every day, decide not to use because they remember that good feeling, okay? And it be calling them. But what ended up happening was the people got so drunk, the people that's supposed to be sober and clean and sober got so drunk that they ended up fighting. And she was like, I don't know why I did it. I know why you did it, Etta James, because it ain't nothing like seeing two pipeheads fighting. Oh, it's the most comical, analytical, disturbing thing you will ever see in your life. But it's hilarious, so I get it. And as her punishment, her therapist, I think his name is Muscatel, like the wine that Sanford and Son be drinking all the time. But anyway, Muscatel had told her, listen, we're going to have to push you right back down to the beginning because you caused chaos within the facility, okay? Etta James was so in her feelings and so embarrassed about the situation, especially being bumped back down to the position of just coming through the door, having to deal with all the senior members there, taking her through the hazing process again. She said she couldn't do it, so she decided to leave. Once Muscatel got a hint that she was leaving, he begged her, please don't leave, baby. You're not ready to leave. How about this? How about I keep you at the position that you were at and we'll go from there? It was too late. Etta already made up her mind to move forward. When Al learned I was leaving, he went wild. He came to the room and kicked the door down. Girl, I swear, Etta B's doing, girl, really? Why the hell would he kick a door down in a facility with crazy people when he gonna come in there with the crazy behavior? Girl, please. Besides, I thought to myself, I had my man Sam, who was just as good as a therapist. Okay, now don't forget, she did say that Sam had the propensity to backslide a lot. Okay, remember I told you that. Sam was a great salesman, and off we went to shack up in Topanga Canyon, living in an apartment with a couple of my musicians. I also discovered I was pregnant. I was glad. There was no talk of marriage, though. I never divorced artist who was serving his time in Texas, but by now Sam and I were a team. So, I mean, it's not like it ain't never happened before where you be married to another ninja that's locked up and then you got pregnant by another ninja. You know, I mean, it happens. We can't even be mad. I mean, we could be mad at the girl because we like, girl, you ain't even taking care of Donto. Okay, you got crazy Dorothy around here taking care of this baby, but now you pregnant again. So now you gotta find a babysitter for 2 babies now, girl. Oh my God, people be killing me with this bullshit. It be like, girl, you can barely take care of the child you got. You will want to make that your number one priority to not get pregnant so that your life could get easier. But child, I digress. I turned to music for help. In 1976, I ran to New Jersey, very pregnant, where I cut what would be the last of my albums with Chess, which had actually been taken over by Joe Robinson and Allison Platinum Records. They called it Etta is Better Than Ever. I was feeling a lot of support from the women's movement. I'm not sure of the true definition of a feminist, but I count myself as one. To me, it means that women won't take no more second-class citizenship shit. I like the demanding side of being a feminist, because if you don't demand, you don't get. Years later, I was proud when the big-time women's organization headed by Jane Fonda put my name on their letterhead and asked me to sing at their banquet. Like Cicely Tyson and Maya Angelou, who had beat the odds, I was damn proud. Okay, now her and Sam then moved back into an apartment in this place called Reseda, another suburban city in the valley, and brought Donto with us. Now Dorothy is fed up. Okay, she like, I'm tired of watching your baby. You watch your own damn baby. I want to go back to what I was doing before, living day by day in different seedy hotels and just doing me. I can't do none of this with a baby hanging on, okay? What I need is for you to take your baby back so I can go do my business. She decided she wants to live in a rundown place off Hollywood Boulevard by herself. I was feeling strong enough to take care of my own son. So you got that part when she said, I was feeling strong enough to take care of my own baby, okay? How were you feeling strong enough to take care of your own baby, one baby, but you still got another baby cooking in the oven? That's a concern to me. Where is the the sensibility in this, and it's so sad because there's so many women that look at it like, okay, I got one baby, I can't afford that baby, let's just, we'll just throw that baby on top of the ones that I already have and just keep going like that. Or we can make it, we can eat love for dinner. On April 5th, 1976, I gave birth to my second son. We called him Sametto. Okay. That July, I went off to Europe to play the Montreux Festival in Switzerland. The gig knocked me out. The trip to Montreal, though, ended on a sour note. Sam was starting to get out of hand. You know she can't stay away from a nigga. She cannot stay away from a ninja even if she tried, girl. She knew that ninja was slipping in and out of sobriety. She said while they was in Montreal, Sam had acted so much of a ninja that she snuck out of the house with Donto and caught a flight back home by herself and left the ninja there. Girl, he ain't got no money. You got to help him get back home. The end of my relationship with Chess was sad. After all, I'd been there for 16 long years. But in 1978, Chess was the past and my future was certain. Jerry Wexler was still hot to do an entire album with me. Jerry had left Atlantic and was freelancing. Jerry came to LA to cut an album, Deep in the Night. The critics loved Deep in the Night, but it did not sell well. The next guy who was interested in her was this guy named Alan Toussaint. Okay, he got her signed to MCA. Okay, that was a chance for her to leave town and run down there to New Orleans and record some music. So she was ready to go to New Orleans. Why? Because Sam was still acting a ninja. She said that the ninja was all the way off the wagon. He was shooting again, and it wasn't like she was going to jump in his face and be, sanctified and righteous, because she knew that she was a backslider too. So she just took the opportunity to just get away from him. Okay? And where's the baby? In New Orleans alone in a recording studio with Alan Toussaint sounded good to me. Only one problem. Alan was nowhere to be found. I got to New Orleans and settled into one of those frilly hotels in the French Quarter. This was kind of crazy to me, because I'm like, wait a minute, what kind of games is you playing, Alan? But them geniuses, they always be crazy. The geniuses be crazy. She said what would happen is he would purposefully evade her. She would hear about a party that he was going to, hop in a cab, go down there to the party, and all she would see is the back of his head getting small. Alan Toussaint, it's me, it's Etta. Don't forget you're supposed to be working with me. Until one day, she went to one of the events, and when she seen his car rolling off, she hopped in the cab and followed him to his car. Okay? Walked in the house behind him and said, look, Alan, what is your problem with me? What's the concern? You got me around here waiting around for you like you the king of Sheba. Answer, no. I'm the queen of Sheba, not you niggers. So what's popping between me and you? She said the dude just sat down at the piano and started playing. That's when I went off. God damn it, Alan. I started shouting. You can't have me come out here and leave me hanging in a hotel room for 2 weeks like some damn fool. He at the piano. She kirking, okay? He playing with her head. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, keep going. You mad? Keep expressing it. She like, what? Ninja, I'm serious around here. I'm serious. I got a problem with you. You got me around here waiting on you like some kind of, press-ass baby mother or something. I don't have no problems with you, baby mammies. I'm just joking. You got me around here waiting on you like you my nigga. My nigga back home. Nodding. Well, right then and there, with my chewing him out like a mad woman, the boy wrote a song. A beautiful song. That's how Mr. Cool handled Miss Prima Donna. You inspire me, he said. Suddenly standing there watching him run his fingers over the keys, hearing him sing the enchanting melody, I forgot my anger. Yeah, I said, I like that groove. I like it a lot. Don't Stop. Don't Stop wound up being the best cut on the album Alan produced for me. I called it Changes. Back at the fort in LA, life with me and my sons were getting complicated. My finances were so funky, I didn't have a phone and couldn't get one because of all the bills that I neglected. I loved the boys to death, and I wanted to make a good, safe home for them. But Sam was making me crazy. For a guy who started off as a righteous reformer and believer in true sobriety, how could you think that when you the one that told me that the nigga was a backslider? He was now a hanger-on and scheming dope addict who refused to work and didn't mind living off my money. My money was getting funnier and funnier. Gigs were harder to come by. Etta James wasn't exactly taking the world by storm. Certain women don't mind taking care of a nigga. Ooh, they don't mind bringing home the bacon, frying it up in the pan, and never, ever, ever let you forget that you're a man. Shit. If I'm doing all that, you can't be a man. You one of my children. I opened for the Stones a couple of times in the late 70s and early 80s. Happened around the same time I started getting into coke. The coke had nothing to do with Keith and Mick. See that? She had to put that shit in there. Okay? No. We know that Keith and Mick has some, addiction issues. We know that. But this time, they ain't give it to me. I bring it myself. She had to clear the white man name, okay? She can't do that. She can't let you just think that the white man gave her the drug. But nobody's, thinking that Etta James need help to do any kind of drugs, okay? She always read. When Wexler set me up with them, they couldn't have been cooler. I believe they're genuine lovers of true R&B, even connoisseurs of the music. And I liked being associated with them. Yeah, because the Rolling Stones was a big deal. Oh, yeah, guys, y'all gonna be okay? But I decided to add in some white performers, because believe it or not, I do like some white music. Like, I love David Bowie. I think that he has a good story to tell. I wouldn't mind doing Keith Richards versus Mick Jagger, because them niggas hated each other. Also, another one that I'm going to be working on this weekend is Marilyn Monroe, because I think we all just love her crazy innocence. As you know, I was deep into slide back into the 60s and early 70s. I liked the way George Clinton and Bootsy Collins built up the horns and glorified the grooves. When Rick James came along, he tightened up the sound without losing the feeling. I could relate to all the crazy spaced out funksters. And I could sure as hell relate to the kick out the jams energy of the Stones. Keith, who worshipped Chuck Berry, was more down to earth than Mick. You were only as close to Mick as Mick wanted you to be, but you could talk to Keith anytime. Many were the nights, for example, when he'd call me up to his room just to get high and listen to his fabulous collection of R&B. Look, it's a payday right here, y'all. I can't wait to get off camera because I'm going to fuck this payday up as soon as I get off camera. Rationalization and bullshit, and I had plenty of bullshit. I tell myself since I wasn't doing heroin, this time I could handle drugs. I could handle coke. I wasn't shooting. I was only tooting. So it wasn't so bad. I thought about my friends who had been smoking the pipe and swore I never would. She's doing coke, okay? And in her mind, she's saying, well, I'm only tooting coke. I'm only sticking it up my nose. She thinks she's better because she's not freebasing, okay? Now, so far what I'm reading, she has not freebased yet. And that freebasing, that pickety-pipety is what, sends people over the top. Now, coke can mess you up too, but it's just something about that daggone, man. I was alive to see the crack epidemic, at its worst, all right? And it's a vicious drug. But to her, in her mind, as long as she wasn't freebasing or putting it in a pipe, she was better. I knew, for example, that Larry Williams had been fooling with crack. In the late 70s, I'd done a showcase with my friend and musical hero, Johnny Guitar. Hold on, let's go back to, what's his name? Lenny Williams. Oh no, Larry Williams, okay? Remember, Larry Williams was that cat burglar, okay? The one who was trying to be a musician, but he really wasn't taking off like that. And everybody looking at him like, wait a minute, nigga. You ain't got no hits, but you still driving Cadillacs. Wait a minute, ninja. You giving away fur coats. What the heck is going on? What's going on is all his hoes, because he was a pimp too. You could not work for him if you was not a pussy seller and a pocket snatcher. I done a showcase with my friend and musical hero, Johnny Guitar Watson. Suddenly, John was hot again. He had I Don't Want to Be a Lone Ranger, A Real Mother for You, and It's Too Late. I'm a real mother for you, yeah. Out there, John could funk it up with the best of the young brothers, and I was happy to see him riding high on the charts. Trouble is, he was riding high, period. He brought Larry Williams to the gig. I remember the horn player John Handy, who had a jazz soul smash with hard work and was also on the bill. Me, John Watson, and Larry shot the shit like old times. She said she loved getting high with them. It was like getting high with old buddies. Let me tell you something else that I find peculiar about Etta James. Wasn't none of them dudes trying to hunch her. Isn't that crazy? It's weird because she had a lot of male friends, but wasn't none of them like trying to get at her. Larry kept a beautiful LA pad. But on New Year's Eve of 1980, when him and John were up there partying, he was killed by a bullet to the brain. So she's saying that all her colleagues that surrounded her, as she was growing up through the ranks, okay, she was saying that most of them were, dying or leaving, as a result of drug addiction, okay. She says you would think that because she's losing her friends left and right, that it would make her pull back on her drug cravings. She said, answer no. She said she just finally accepted the fact that the person whom people used to call and ask for help in times of their cravings for drugs, she couldn't face them no more. Okay, she was no longer that person that a person can confide in, because now she is a no-count counselor. The big shock came in 1981. I was a little edgy anyway, because I'd been snorting coke. It was a Saturday afternoon, and me and my band had just wrapped up a sound check at a club on Greenville Avenue in Dallas, Texas. We were about to return to the hotel. I remember it was a sunny day outside when a tall man walked through the door. His frame blocked the light. I couldn't be sure, but the shape of his body looked awfully familiar. As he approached me, his face converted into darkness. I could swear I knew the walk. It seemed crazy, seemed nearly impossible. But yes, no doubt about it, it was Artis Mills. Now, if you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, and subscribe, because it is so important to our success here on the YouTube. Remember this, the same people that you meet on the way up will always be the same people that you meet on the way down. My naysayers, my patron loves, you bellas, my love bugs, be safe, get vaccinated. Peace.